Good morning, viewers. Well, I'll be addressing Dino Melaye and his opinion or the opinions he canvassed as he related to P2B's quest to become president of this country. Well, in his address, Dino Melaye made us to understand that it was not P2B's time to be president of this country, that P2B should shelve the idea of becoming running for the presidency of this country, that it was not his time. Even though he gave some accolades and compliments to Peter B's experience, Peter B's proficiency, grip on economic issues, but he ended up spoiling the entire thing by asking him to shelve his ambition to become the president of this country until such a time that he alone knows for people to come out and become the president of the country. But then, Dino Melaye, I want to ask you one question. For how long shall we be waiting for our Redeemer to come? Must we wait until the ineptitude that is prevalent in the system destroys the entire system before we can now ask P2B and his kind to come and take over the reins of power in this country? I am not holding brief for P2B, but I am holding brief for the youths. It's not a must that P2B should be the president, but we want people like P2B to take over the political platforms in the country. We want people like Peter B. Shower to take over PDP as a presidential candidate, take over APC as a presidential candidate, and not senile old men, and not men with unchecked avarice for acquisition. Yes, one of them was a governor of a state. His daughter is in charge of the Lagos economy or the market or commerce in Lagos. His son is in state assembly. His wife is a senator, and he wants to be president. Excuse me, can somebody give me a bird in space? Yes, Nigeria is not a dynasty where one man, a monarch, takes over and then he changes a political button as he wishes. No. Now, Atiku was in charge of privatization of public enterprises. Up to today, we can see how those enterprises are being controlled and those who are owners of these enterprises and how effective they've been. These were enterprises that some of them were doing fine, but because of corruption, endemic corruption, those in power sold these institutions to their cronies or using funds to buy these institutions. And he is there trying to be the president at what age? Like I said, I am now holding brief for P2B, and P2B is not the only qualified young man to vie for the presidency of this country. What I am advocating for is for people of his age or younger than he is to take over the political platforms in all the parties. Talk about APC. Yes, we can have a shower in APC as a presidential candidate. Talk about PDP. We can have people of Shower's age as a presidential candidate for PDP. Just like we have a younger person in Labour Party. So let these old senile old men get the hair out of the way and allow the youth to take over these political platforms. That's what I'm talking about. So I am not holding brief for Peter. Peter B is not the only qualified young man who can vie for the presidency. But having been the only person right away on the spot, we should have to talk less about sharing his ambition, just like what Dino Melaye was canvassing, that he should suspend. Excuse me, Dino Melaye just have got to give me some breathing space. Now, coming to issue of having strong, powerful central bank governor or a finance minister to checkmate the cost of governance. I think Dino Melaye should understand that the cost of governance is not only when it relates to um, high remuneration and allowances of the senators or legislators or ministers or the president. That's not only where we have high cost of governance. Corruption, endemic corruption or corruption fuels high cost of governance the other day. Auditor General, Accountant General, whoever he was, stole 80 something to 100 and something billion naira. This is part of the high cost of one of the factors that fuels high cost of governance because that money stolen was budgeted for as part of the expenditure that will be run by the ministries. And that he succeeded taking away this money has induced high cost of governance in all the ministries. Corruption, endemic corruption, illegal acquisition, kickbacks, and the rest of them informs high cost of governance or prevalence of high cost of governance. So it's not only when a senator takes 100 million that he say, oh, high cost of governance, or when a minister is paid 1 billion naira a month, that is not the only way, the only factors that fuels high cost of governance. Kickbacks is part of high cost of governance. The unending fight against Boko Haram and with high cost of, high budgets being free, money budgeted for securities being stolen and frittered away by those who are in charge of security. These are aspects of high cost of governance or factors that induces high cost of governance in the system. Today, nobody will say that he or she has not been hearing complaints from our soldiers that they are using antiquated or inferior weapons against Boko Haram. But somebody somewhere made a budget that was approved for sophisticated weapons to be bought. But there we go and buy second-hand ammunitions or non-functional ammunitions and then stole the balance of the budget. These are aspects of high cost of governance or factors that induces high cost of governance. So Dino Melaye should understand that is high cost of governance is all prevalent in all the partners of the system, and not just it's not just one factor as it relates to the National Assembly or ministers or those who are government public officers. Having said this, again he talked about having powerful CBN governor or finance minister to checkmate high cost of governance. And I'm telling you, excuse me, once you have an overbearing president who does not want to guarantee central bank autonomy, just like what we have in America, in the UK, if you have a president that's very overbearing, who wants to trample upon institutional autonomy like that of central bank, you are talking errant nonsense when you start talking about a powerful CBN governor or powerful finance minister. Because in Nigeria here, Asarok has got the right to hire and fire the governor of central bank and without National Assembly raising an eyebrow. Because National Assembly is just a rubber stamp assembly. Instead of checkmating the judiciary the executive. National Assembly has become an appendage, a department of Asarok. So, Dino Melaye, you are talking about having a powerful CBN governor and a powerful finance minister to cut the high cost of governance. It's not. I mean, it's not here. It's neither here or there, because the environmental factors as it relates to the powers of the president's Nigerian president has made it impossible for we to have strong institutions. So you just have got to take this, understand where you're going wrong or where you ain't got no point. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bons Damos, and I'm just trying to make one on common sense.